So then there was the guy in the black t-shirt.
That's me.
That's you. So thank you for joining us, Mr. Kevin Kauffman. I appreciate it very much that you would join us and do this today. I'm going to do a little quick intro on you so that everyone that's on here today knows who you are. And then I'm going to get out of the way and let you do your thing.
Awesome.
So who the heck is Kevin Kauffman, they say? I would say, if I were describing him, if I was writing the bio, I would just simply say, just a super rock solid dude. He happens to sell real estate, do a podcast, and host a Facebook. That would be my intro, but I guess he's got a better, more formal one. So Kevin Kauffman is a real estate agent, investor, entrepreneur, and educator. In 2008, he became the co-founder of one of the nation's most successful teams, the Group 4610 Network. As I said to Fred this morning, Kevin, 2008, man, you probably didn't pick the best year, did you? Tough year to start, right? Kevin is a host of a podcast, The Kevin and Fred Show, and the co-founder of one of the largest online masterminds in real estate, the Facebook group Next Level Agents. As I said earlier, if you heard me, if you're listening now, if you're not a member of that Facebook group, I highly recommend you go find it as soon as we're done today and join the Next Level Agents. Group 4610 has been named one of Real Trend's top 1,000 agents in the USA numerous times, and they've continued to grow and adapt to the market. Before expanding his real estate sales team, Kevin was one of the majority owners of a brokerage in Phoenix, Arizona that was struggling and on the brink of shutting down in 2013. Kevin and his team were able to resurrect the brokerage and in 2016 sell it so that he could focus on the continuing expansion of the Group 4610 network. Kevin is going to talk to us about a topic he's, I think, uniquely qualified to talk about today, and that's iBuyers. And the title is iBuyers, Survive Digital Disruption as a Real Estate Agent. Kevin, I believe you live and operate in one of the most hotbed markets of iBuyers in our country. You can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I'm pretty sure that's true. So thank you for doing this today. I think you know by now I truly appreciate that you would do it. And with that, man, we're ready to hear what you got to say.
Awesome, man. Well, first of all, it's my pleasure to be here. I love this. I love education. I love giving back. You might have picked up on that on the super lengthy, in crazy long bio there that Eric read. You may have picked up on a couple of things, which is I love to give back to the real estate agent community. It's why we do a podcast. It's why we host it's why we have the Facebook group Next Level Agents. Prior to that, it's why Fred and I first traveled around Phoenix teaching other agents how to do short sales when we were succeeding at them and the industry wasn't. It's why we then started traveling the country to do the same thing while simultaneously running our business. And so giving back, I've gotten so much from this industry, from other people giving back, people that have already been on earlier than me today, Fred and I, it's just something that we do, right? It's something that comes to us naturally, and we love to do that. So thanks for letting us be here and be part of it, Eric. I'll say that. So let's kind of jump into it. Like Eric and I were talking about this event. He was telling me about it, and he knows obviously that iBuyers are a big deal here. Now, I'm in Phoenix. It's a big deal in Phoenix. I get it. It's not really a big deal in Ohio. So you're probably thinking like, why would I want to hear about iBuyers? And I'm going to tell you why in a moment. I'm going to tell you why I think you want to learn about iBuyers, because I think there's a few different perspectives we as real estate professionals, no matter what market we're in, should take. And the reason why I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to share some of this information is, as Eric referenced, I'm literally ground zero for iBuyers. So Open Door, who is the largest iBuyer company there is, currently doing more transactions than probably all the other companies than all of the other companies combined for now. I'm sure Zillow will catch up one day. They started here. In fact, in August, which is just a few months away, it'll be 6 years now since they closed their first transaction. So I've seen it, right? I've had to run my business in the middle of what's going on with these iBuyers. And I've seen all of the different emotions and the ups and downs. And so I'm going to fast forward through some of that with you. I'm going to kind of give you the highlights, and I'm going to give you a free resource as well when we're done. But here's been my experience. Most people go, first of all, what the heck is an iBuyer? So for those of you who don't know yet, it can be defined in many ways. Effectively, they're tech companies who happen to buy real estate. They are consumer-driven real estate companies. You've heard of them like Open Door, OfferPad, Zillow has become an iBuyer, Redfin has become an iBuyer. In fact, almost all major brokerages have some sort of iBuyer platform. So it's just a quick process, right? And where what effectively it looks to do, think about when you wanted to buy something pre-Amazon, right? There was a lot more friction. Let's say you wanted to buy a new shirt or you needed to buy some soap. You had to get in your car, drive to the store, blah, 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 deal with pricing. There was a lot of steps. So and I'm not trying to say they're the Amazon of real estate. That's not what I'm getting at. But what they have done is they've reduced the friction for selling a home, or they are attempting to reduce the friction. Home buyer shows up to an app or a website. They submit their home. iBuyer approves to make an offer, an all cash offer on the home. There's like typically an inspection period, just like any other transaction with repairs and small renovations. The iBuyer closes on the deal, turns around, sells it, hopefully makes for them a small profit. And we could go into all of the other things that stem off of that, but that effectively is an iBuyer, right? Where they're using technology and scale, if you will, to remove friction from the home selling process. Now, if you're a real estate agent, you can admit this if you're honest. Selling your home is a pain in the butt. We can all admit to that. And if we don't, then I'm going to have to say we're just not honest. So what they're trying to do is reduce that friction, right? So why do I want to talk about this? Especially for agents in Ohio, where it's just not as relevant and prevalent as it is here in Phoenix. And the reason why is because it's coming. Right. So I've seen the agents go through the emotions. I've gone through the emotions myself. I've seen it where the first thought is, oh God, these companies are trying to come in, get in between us and our clients. And then what happens is they come in, and typically when you see an iBuyer first take off, they're making offers that are probably lower than fair market value. They are charging higher fees, by far higher fees than what a real estate agent would charge to sell a home. And sometimes they're selling the homes at a loss, right? Because when you look at transactions on a one-off basis, it's really easy to see all of the errors. And then what happens over time, these companies do more and more transactions, right? Because you got to understand, unlike an investor, like you and I, if we have an investor that we're working with, right? Say one of our clients likes to buy, call it a rental property or two a year or a flip or two a year, like they have to make money on that deal. They're going to make money on that deal, and they're not going to buy anything that puts them in risk of not making money on that deal. An iBuyer doesn't look at one deal. They look at, what are the 500 I can buy this month? What are the 1,000 I can buy? What are the 10,000 I can buy, or 25,000 homes I can buy this year? Can I make a profit on that? And that is a much different viewpoint, and it's a much different process. And so what happens is people tend to go, they get in one of a few camps. They go, yeah, they charge too much. They're making lowball offers. I don't have to worry about them in my market. You're right. Right now, you don't have to worry about that. But I can promise you this, if they come to your market and if they continue to do transactions, and that's not that big of a stretch, by the way. Like if you look at Zillow, go look at Zillow offers and how fast they've expanded. You realize that they kind of get up to some sort of volume pretty quickly. Doesn't take that long. 6 years ago, they closed one home in a month. And they, open door, I bet you they charge 14% service charge. Think of it as a commission. And here we are, fast forward 6 years. They make offers that are pretty much at fair market value, maybe just below, sometimes above. In fact, I've advised clients to take the offer more than once. Our team has done that a ton of times. And their fees oftentimes are right in the same range of what we would charge. Like on average, they're just below 8% service fees. Think about it. That's not much different than most real estate agents. And in some cases, the fees are even lower. So as they do more volume in a marketplace, they do get more prevalent, right? So the first camp I see agents fall into is, they charge too much. Doesn't matter. It's a bad deal for the consumer. They're just ripping consumers off. No, they're not. Like you can look at any one deal and kind of narrow in on that. Sure, you can pick one apart. But when you look at the body of work, the tens of thousands of transactions that they've done, no, you can see it's actually a very good deal. In fact, their North Star is the customer. So that is kind of the first camp that agents fall into. The other camp that agents fall into, and hopefully this isn't you either, but they fall, I want to go back. The other thing is, so they go, think about that like they're bad. They make bad offers. They rip off homeowners, right? Because they're stealing their equity. What I see happen as well with those agents is they badmouth them. And it's one thing to badmouth that to another agent. I don't think it does you any good. But it's a totally other thing when you badmouth it to your prospective clients and your past clients and your sphere of influence. Think about if a travel agent would have told you 15 years ago that like the internet or Expedia or Hotwire was terrible for you for traveling, when in reality, almost nobody travels without them today. Like you would look like a moron. Like history would prove you wrong. And I promise you, you don't want to be on the wrong side of history when it comes to the advice you gave your clients, people you either had or hope to have a fiduciary relationship with. So that's kind of section number one. Section number two of agents, or group number two of agents that I see fall into, is like, hey, the sky is falling and they're going to do all of they're going to do all the transactions. I'm going to be out of a job. Like I'm not going to be able to sell houses again because they're going to take all of my business. I'm here to tell you that's not going to happen either. It's just not going to happen. They're going to take a certain percentage of it. There is no doubt. But what I think is really important is we realize that they're not going to take it all. And more to the heart of why I wanted to talk about iBuyers here during this session. I think I've only got about 5 or 6 minutes left. And Eric, you can police me. Reason I want to talk about this is because here's what iBuyers are doing. And as soon as we understand this as a body of realtors, as a whole, as a group, the quicker we can make sure that we do survive and that we are there in the future and we never get displaced. We need to look at what exactly is it? What is the question, or what is the demand that the consumer is making that we're not meeting? Because, ladies and gentlemen, that's why these companies exist. It's because there is a need in the marketplace. There is a desire in the marketplace for something that we don't provide, that only these companies so far have been able to provide at a big scale. And so what is that? And how can I bring that into my business? Now, there's another group of agents who are thinking, and you might be thinking this right now too, they're not in my market. They're not coming to my market. They'll never be in my market. I don't care. That's cool. I get it. You probably don't have to worry about it as much. Here's my perspective on things. It's twofold. Number one, you could take it from the proactive approach, which is what could I learn and how could I be better to my clients, even though I don't necessarily have that competition pushing me. And then number two is, and what I think is probably more likely to be true over time, is that as this happens, and I'll call it the bigger metro areas, right? The Phoenixes, the Charlotte and Austin and Cincinnati, in these metro areas, as these companies make more and more penetration, what happens is they're going to raise the natural standards, their requirements for customers. And that will trickle into your market eventually. Like it or not, it will trickle into your market. And so I'm going to challenge you to ask yourself these questions. What is it that they're providing and how can I provide that? Because here's the deal. I actually don't mind if a client decides to go with an iBuyer. I just want to make sure that I'm there to guide them, right? Because I know that, and I've got a free ebook. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Trust me, I have no back end. I have no upside to sell you here. But I want to get more information in your hands though. So what I want to know is like, what can I learn? How can I provide more value to the consumer so that if they want to go Zillow offers, if they want to go Open Door, OfferPad, etc., how do I make sure that they call me first? Because there are ways to make sure that you stay a part of the transaction. Most of these companies will pay you a commission on it, especially if you already have a signed listing agreement. Most of these companies will look for a way to keep you as the agent included. Okay. So I just want the consumer to call me first, but I also want to know, like, what other services can I provide? I just want my clients to call me first. And I think that you want your clients to call you first too, no matter what the disruptor, no matter who the disruptor is. And so I think we can use these companies. I've used them as leverage here. It's kind of cool that my team here in the Phoenix area, and we're an expansion team, so we've got some agents in other markets, we can show up to a listing appointment with offers, not with valuations, not with CMAs, not with a printout of an RPR or a cloud CMA, but with an offer, with a real live offer. And so I'm going to encourage you that you can use these companies and what they're offering, their disruptive opportunity, to your advantage. You can use it to your advantage to create new leads. You can use it as an advantage to bring more value to your current clients and leads already. You can use it to your advantage to up your game, because you can find out who moved your cheese, and it's them. They're moving your cheese right now, whether you know it or not. And so get in front of it, get on the front side of this. Don't be on the back side of it. And that's why I believe knowing about iBuyers, learning about them, learning from them is so hugely important to the survival. And I don't know about you guys, but I plan to survive. I plan to sell real estate for a long time. I'm celebrating my 13th year in real estate this month, and I plan to do it for the foreseeable future. Can't imagine not being involved in residential real estate. And I know that means I've got to up my game, and I do that through what I call the iBuyer advantage. So if it's okay, Eric, I'll give a quick link. You guys can go check out kevinandfred.com/iBuyer. That's the letter I, then the word buyer, kevinandfred.com/iBuyer, and download the ebook. It's free. Eric, you read it. I don't know. Did it suck? Was it okay?
Oh, it was okay, I guess. No, it was very good. I do have it. In fact, I actually just a few days ago had it back open and was referring back into it a little bit, because I do believe that some model variation, whatever it might be, however it ends up looking a year from now down the road, whatever. Zillow, by the way, right before the pandemic started, had launched in Cincinnati. They just almost never got started before they had to stop. It's inevitable that they'll start right back up here again soon. And it's just, it's part of our business now, right? Consumers are driving our business. They're more and more all the time what the consumer wants. And if it's virtual presentations, or if it's some kind of an iBuyer offer, what consumers are driving this thing. We're not in charge of this anymore. We're the ones that have to provide the value. We got to bring it every day. And so I appreciate you just share this whole thing, man, honestly. And I think, as usual, when I hear you talk, you're talking about iBuyer and strategy and how to handle it. But actually what I think I heard is just it's a mind shift change, like a mindset change. Like you need to, if you're a real estate agent and you've got old thoughts around what this looks like, you just need to change your mindset around it. It can be something we can use to grow if we think about it right. Yes,
100%. We can absolutely grow with this, and because of it and from it, as opposed to being taken over by it.
Yeah. Dude, I appreciate so much that you would do this. I know you're super busy. Your time is incredibly valuable. I think you know by now that I appreciate it, but I just want to express to you how much it means that you would do this. What's that link one more time to get the ebook?
Absolutely, man. My pleasure. kevinandfred.com/iBuyer. kevinandfred.com/iBuyer.
And if somebody just wants to connect with you on some channel and just ask a question or follow up, how would they reach you best?
You know, if you join our Facebook group, Next Level Agents, like that's a great way to connect. I'm active in there daily. You can also just regular Facebook Messenger. You can also, if you go to kevinandfred.com, just the regular URL, there's a contact me form there. That comes to mine and Fred's emails directly. So no one else reads that first. It comes right to us. So kevinandfred.com, and then just click on the contact us form, and that'll get right to us. Otherwise, Facebook, Instagram. Probably don't follow me on Twitter. Drop a lot of F-bombs there.
Uh-oh. All right, man. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot. My pleasure for being here. You guys have a great day.